I battled the HOA that wrecked my father's property, only to learn he was secretly bankrolling them. How would you feel discovering the group you're fighting is funded by your own family? The roar of machinery snapped me awake at 6 a.m. Tuesday. I stumbled to my window, rubbing sleep from my eyes, and saw a bulldozer tearing into the lot behind our house. My coffee mug crashed to the floor. "Dad!" I yelled, racing downstairs. "They're digging up our buffer zone!" My father, William Carter, stood on the back porch in his robe, face etched with shock. For 30 years he'd owned that strip of land behind our home, bought to keep a barrier between us and the community center. "This is a mistake," he muttered, dialing his phone. "No one builds there without my say." His expression darkened with each unanswered call. By noon, 5 construction vehicles had shredded half the green space. Orange spray paint marked boundaries creeping into our property line. When we confronted the workers, they shrugged, pointing to work orders. "Cedar Hills HOA gym expansion. Talk to management." William's hands trembled as we marched to the community center. He'd lived in Cedar Hills for 4 decades and helped shape it. Everyone respected William Carter, or so I thought. Margaret Lawson's office door was shut. Through frosted glass, her rigid silhouette loomed. After making us wait 3 minutes, she called, "Enter." "Margaret," William began, "your crew is digging on my land." She barely glanced up from her laptop, her sleek brunette bob unmoving. "Check your property lines, William. The community needs a bigger gym. The board voted unanimously last month." "I wasn't notified of any vote," William snapped. "That land's mine, bought in 1989. Margaret's smile was sharp. "Records say otherwise. Maybe your memory's slipping." William, who recalls every neighbor's birthday, wasn't forgetful. "Show me," he demanded. She slid over a folder with a property map I didn't recognize and a document bearing William's signature, selling the buffer zone to the HOA. His face paled. "I didn't sign this. The board meeting was on March 10th. "You were there," Margaret said, her tone syrupy with fake concern. "Your name's on our funding records. Perhaps your daughter, Emily, should monitor your health." That night, a storm hit Cedar Hills. I woke to gurgling water, not rain, but flooding in our basement. Cracks had split our foundation where the crew had dug. When I called Margaret, she answered instantly, as if waiting. "Property damage isn't our issue," she said. "Call your insurance." "Your construction caused this," I shouted. "Prove it," she replied, hanging up. William sat on the basement steps, watching water swallow his old photos. "Something's off," he whispered. "My name's on their funding, but I never approved this." "What do you mean, funding?" I asked. He looked away. "I've backed the HOA anonymously for years. No one was supposed to know." Before I could process, a deafening crack shook the house. Outside, our backyard pool had split, water gushing as the foundation shifted. My phone lit up with a text, "Emergency HOA meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. All residents must attend. Fines for absence." William stared at the ruined pool, rain soaking him. "They knew this would happen," he said. "They did it anyway." The community center hummed with whispers as we entered. Neighbors we'd known forever avoided us. Mrs. Nguyen, whose son I'd tutored, turned away when I waved. Margaret, pristine in a red blazer, stood at the podium. "We're here to celebrate our new fitness center," she announced, showing a slide of a glassy building labeled Cedar Hills Wellness Hub. No mention of our flooded basement or shattered pool. William raised his hand. Margaret ignored him for 10 minutes before acknowledging him. "Your construction damaged my property," he stated. "And it's on my land." Murmurs spread. Margaret's smile held. "The boundaries were legally adjusted, William. Your signature's on the documents." "I never signed anything," Margaret sighed. "This is why we needed unanimous board approval, to avoid such confusion." She flashed a slide with William's signature. Your home's pre-existing issues are your responsibility. William stood, swaying. Margaret, stop lying. He clutched his chest, collapsing. I caught him, screaming. Call an ambulance! Paramedics arrived as Margaret and 3 board members watched from afar, offering no help. At the hospital, the doctor said, mild heart attack. He needs rest, no stress. I laughed bitterly. Impossible. That night, our lawn oozed water. The construction had hit our water main. Our driveway cracked further. A $750 HOA fine for unsightly property damage was taped to our door. Furious, I stormed to the community center. Margaret's office glowed. Inside, she met a man in a suit, her husband, Robert Lawson, owner of Lawson Construction, the gym's contractor. A voice startled me. They're meeting the bank about financing. It was Daniel Kim, our neighbor of 15 years. The HOA's broke, Emily. Margaret sold the gym as a savior, higher property values, rich newcomers. Your dad's land was perfect. She knew he was the anonymous donor and thought he'd let it slide. My father never voted for this, I said. Daniel shrugged. He missed the meeting, hospital visit. Someone had planned this. Back home, I found 3 more violation notices, including a $2,500 fine for our destroyed pool. William's office was ransacked, his safe open, revealing HOA funding records. His recent signatures looked forged. A text from an unknown number read, Storage Room, Community Center, 2 p.m. Tomorrow. Come alone to save your dad's land. Jackhammers woke me at 5:17 a.m., defying noise laws. I recorded them, adding to our evidence. William, frail at the kitchen table, said, The Clarks won't even look at me now. The doorbell rang. It was Brian Lee, whose twins I'd babysat. Your sprinkler's wetting my driveway, he snapped. Fix it, and those ugly driveway cracks. Our sprinkler's broken from your gym's damage, I retorted. Your family can afford fixes, he sneered. Stop hogging community benefits. Neighbors watched, silent. More fines arrived, $1,000 for improper drainage, caused by their construction. At Margaret's office, I slammed the notices down. You're fining us for your damage. Appeal next month, she said coolly. Your father's confusion is the issue. He never approved this. You forged his signature. Prove it, she smirked. Neighbors in the office avoided my gaze, they'd known. That evening, a new crack split our driveway. Our insurance denied claims, citing earth movement. The next morning, William collapsed in his garden, clutching his chest. I called 911, shouting over the construction noise. Margaret and the board members watched from across the street, doing nothing. At the hospital, the doctor warned. Stress-induced cardiac episode. He needs peace. That night, our power and water were cut without warning, another, emergency repair, from construction. A text from Michael offered help, arranging a coffee shop meeting. At the cafe, Michael Torres, a new neighbor and property rights attorney, revealed Margaret's husband's company had rushed permits and faked documents while William was hospitalized. We need your dad's original records, he said. Racing home, I found our basement flooded again, a water main break. William's office papers, our evidence, were ruined. Margaret appeared with a $500 fine for standing water. Your construction caused this, I yelled. She smirked. Rules are rules, and announced a 25% HOA dues hike. Michael urged me to document everything. At the hospital, William revealed a safe deposit box with duplicate documents. The next day, we retrieved the original surveys and signatures proving the forgeries. Michael found ex-board members to testify against Margaret's tactics and linked her nephew to shady permits. Neighbors, like the Kim's daughter, whispered support, fearing retaliation. The gym's grand opening loomed. Margaret invited William as our benefactor to mock him. We're going, he insisted. At the ceremony, balloons and banners celebrated the Cedar Hills Wellness Hub. Margaret's smile faded when she saw us. She praised Williams' investment firm for funding the HOA, shocking the crowd. William took the stage, holding our evidence. "This gym's on my stolen land," he declared, showing original surveys. "My signature was forged while I was hospitalized." Margaret tried to silence him, but neighbors, led by Mrs. Nguyen, demanded he speak. I live streamed to the community's Facebook group. William revealed Lawson Construction's kickbacks and the damage to our home. Margaret lunged for the microphone, but a crack split the gym's wall. "The foundation's collapsing!" Michael shouted. As we evacuated, the building crumbled. Margaret screamed. "You've ruined everything!" William replied. "No, you did." Police and news vans arrived. Margaret was arrested for fraud, her husband and board members too. Neighbors, like Brian Lee, apologized, claiming they believed Margaret's lies. 3 weeks later, Margaret and her allies faced charges for embezzling $2 million. A new HOA manager, Judge Laura Evans, froze assets and called for a new board. Neighbors rallied to repair our home. The county returned Williams' land, and the gym was demolished. Months later, we opened a community park on the lot, with paths for Mrs. Nguyen's wheelchair. Margaret and Robert pleaded guilty, facing 2 years and restitution. At the park's opening, William said, "This belongs to us all." Neighbors reconnected, trust slowly rebuilding. As we sat on our restored porch, I asked, "Was it worth it?" William smiled. "We didn't just save our home, we saved our community." New neighbors moved into Margaret's old house. We welcomed them, joking, "Beware the HOA board." What do you think? Was our fight worth the cost? Share your thoughts below. Have you faced HOA drama or seen community betrayal? Let's debate. When does standing up to bullies go too far, or not far enough?